You care deeply about the Channel crossings crisis and dealing with that crisis. How do you assess the Home Secretary did last night in coming out fighting, really, and particularly in the language that she used?
The Channel crossings, the migrant crossings of the Channel illegally, it's a totemic issue in my constituency and across the country. I think Suella Braverman is the best chance we've got of halting this. And she's getting a lot of pushback from the left because they know that she's serious about dealing with it. And quite honestly, if the Conservative government can't come up with a solution in the next 18 months, I think it's going to be very difficult for us at the next general election. Indeed, we've got local elections next May, which is going to be pretty pivotal, really.
Yes, it certainly will be. Of course, this Conservative government has been in one form or another in power for 12 years now, albeit without a majority for much of that time, more than half of that time without a majority, but still in power nonetheless. And these numbers coming across the Channel have only grown. 40,000 this year, almost double the number that came last year, which in and of itself was almost double the number that came the year before. Why is it that Conservative governments have not been able to grip this issue?
Well, the numbers are growing. We promised the public after the Brexit referendum we'd take back control of our borders. And the biggest sign that we haven't taken control of our borders is this illegal migration of economic migrants coming from, now mostly from young men coming from Albania. Albania is a country that's in NATO. It's applying to join the European Union. It's a safe country. There is no excuse for them to illegally enter the country. And quite honestly, if Suella Braverman wants to bring forward a bill which says that anybody who enters the country illegally from a safe third country will be immediately deported, I'll be voting for it. And I think a lot of my colleagues will as well. We're getting to that point. The fact that it's Albanians and they're heavily linked into organised crime, they've been probably running the mafia in London for the last 3 decades, and they're moving their sphere of influence further north, is deeply worrying. I think we're using the word invasion. Well, I mean, William the Conqueror, as his forces, he came over in 1066, was considerably less than the number of migrants we've taken in the last 12 months. I think that's what the perception is by the public. And it's really, as Tom, a time for plain speaking now. And government and the cabinet have got to understand how totemic this is for most of the British electorate. They're working hard, they're paying a lot of tax, and they don't want to see it being spent on keeping people in hotels who've come here, OK, for a better life. But if we're going to let everyone in who wants a better life, it's going to be standing room only in this country. And the only time they're ever going to stop coming, Tom, is when the situation in this country is worse than the country they're leaving. That's not acceptable to my constituents, it's not acceptable to me, and it's not acceptable to my colleagues.